we have more predictive programming that a meteor is going to hit the Earth, and that the coronavirus is the preparation for this event. Now here we have Boris Johnson in his speech where he wants to build Britain back better, which is a slogan from the World Economic Forum, that we have to beware of the next catastrophe which is coming.
Not just to deal with the immediate economic fallout, but because after 12 years of relative anemia, we need to lift the trend rate of growth. We need to lift people's incomes, not just go back to where we were. And it's clear from COVID that we need the economic robustness to deal with whatever the next cosmic spanner may be hurtling towards us in the dark. And
so he says the next catastrophe will be a cosmic spanner hurtling towards us in the dark. That sounds like a meteorite or an asteroid. Now today we have this speech by the Australian Prime Minister where he says the coronavirus is an economic meteor, and he says this at the G20 meeting.
From the COVID recession to being hit by an economic meteor, the Prime Minister says that global economies are standing up to the explosive fallout, but warns international health systems are at risk of failing.
Virtual neighbours at this morning's closing session of the G20, Scott Morrison and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, both in isolation at their respective residences. It doesn't matter that we were all doing social distancing. They'll meet again in cyberspace tonight, addressing London's policy exchange think tank. Mr Morrison expanding on his thoughts to the G20.
The years ahead will continue to be tough. Recovery is never easy.
Tonight he'll describe the COVID recession as an economic meteor, insisting it's not a failure of Western economies, but a failure of public health.
So there you have that in the G20 they're going to bring in new laws to deal with future catastrophic events. And he describes the coronavirus as an economic meteor. So we have Boris Johnson, and now we have the Australian Prime Minister at the G20. Now the G20 are the Masonic countries. That's why it's called the G20. It has the G of the Freemasons. Here we have Klaus Schwab, and he's at the World Economic Forum. And you can see here that the three O's actually form a 666. So you have like a line going through the zeros, and they form a 666 World Economic Forum. And he is the leader of the World Economic Forum. Now Klaus Schwab got his money from Israel to create his foundation, and he's linked with the City of London and the British Empire, and he's also linked with Switzerland, so he's an obvious Freemason. Now listen to what he says. So he wants the Great Reset, and part of this Great Reset is going to be this meteor strike.
More resilient, because we definitively will have to face other surprises, black swans as they are called, maybe different kinds of viruses.
So he describes that we will experience a black swan event. Now this is new media terminology which describes a black swan event, which means that it is the theory is called black swan, that describes a surprise or major catastrophic event which is unpredictable and unforeseen. And of course this is foreseen because this is part of the plan. So you have Klaus Schwab describing the next event as a black swan, and we have Boris Johnson, a cosmic spanner hurtling towards the Earth, and then you have the Australian Prime Minister at the G20, a economic meteor. We have Klaus Schwab, and you can see that he is connected to Switzerland, the Schwab Foundation funded by Israel. He's connected to the City of London, and he has all these honours, knights honours from different countries, and especially from England, which I will show you here. And so here he has the Order of the Rising Sun from Japan, and here he is part of the Order of the British Empire. And this one is really interesting because he is a Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, which is a Masonic order, whose leader, Grand Master, is Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, who is also the leader of Freemasonry, the Grand Master of Freemasonry in the UK. And you also have the Meteor Strike card in the Illuminati game cards, which is predicted event after event. So, today we have just had the Australian Prime Minister describing the coronavirus as an economic meteor. Thank you.